Why is it that we're not having more people come forward? I mean, it seems like if there
I'll
was
tell
all
you
this
why.
widespread fraud that, we'd have dozens and dozens of people.
I'll tell you why. My life has been destroyed. My life has been completely destroyed because of this. I've lost family. I've lost friends. I've been threatened. My kids have been threatened. I've had to move. I've had to change my phone number. I've had to get rid of social media. Nobody wants to come forward. They're getting threatened. Their lives are getting ruined. I can't even get an actual job anymore. I can't. Because Democrats like to ruin your lives. That's why.
All right. Let's
just like they do to Trump. So let's keep it number 25 is the problem ballot. It got jammed. So the computer would throw an error. It would say ballot number 25. There's an error. I would say pull out ballot number 25. Slowly pull it out. Put it on top. Take the ballots that had already been tabulated, which are on top of the tabulating machine now. Put them all back in a stack, discard the entire batch, and re-scan it. Instead of discarding, they were just rescanning, counting ballots 9 to 10 times, counting votes 9 to 10 times.
So they were counting the same ballot, the same vote, 9 or 10 times?
Yes, sir. They were counting them 9 or 10
How many times did you observe that?
These machines would jam 2 to 3 times an hour each machine. There were approximately 22 to 24 tabulating machines in the TCF center. I observed it thousands of times.
Thousands of times? And how many were there 20 machines approximately?
Approximately between 22 to 24. I showed him a number on it, which was close to 500. It should never go over 50. Ballots come in batches of 50. I said, we have a severe problem here. Nick, autonomous, which is a part owner of Dominion. And he said, Melissa, I don't want to hear that we have a problem. He said, we are here to assist with IT. We are not here to run their election.
What was going on?
He was in on it. They were all in on it.
In on what?
They were cheating. It was very, very apparent. It was apparent he knew. It was apparent that he was in on it. And when he caught on to me knowing that he was in on it, he just wanted nothing to do with me.
Now, did there come a time when 2 vans pulled up?
Yes.
In the back?
Yes, sir.
Late at night?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Approximately 4 o'clock, the garage door of the TCF Center opened. The counting room in the TCF Center is in the basement. So when the garage door opened, a van pulled up, one on day shift, one on night shift. They were supposed to be for food because they were short on food for the workers. Well, food never came out of these vans. So I have 19 things in my affidavit. I was at the TCF Center for 27 hours. I'm a mother. I have 2 children, and I have 2 degrees. I'm very, I would never, I don't know any woman in the world that would write an affidavit under oath just to write it. You can go to prison for this. I know for a fact there was illegal activity going on there. People have pictures of people carrying ballots out of that place. There is pictures of vans full of ballots coming out of that place. Nick sent Samuel over to this warehouse for about 3 hours. When he got back, I said, where were you? Where'd you go? He said, I was at the warehouse. And I said, what were you doing there? And he's like, nothing, they just needed my help. What I believe is it wasn't a data loss. It was actually when they found out Trump was ahead 100,000 votes, and they sent Nick over there to assist with these ballots that came in these vans full of ballots that people can attest to that they witnessed being carried out of these vans at the TCF Center. I didn't see any ballots being carried out of vans. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see anything being carried out of them, but I know people who have and did see this. One woman said to another woman, "Are you a Republican or are you a Democrat?" She said, "I'm a Democrat." And she said, "Well, so am I. Let's sit together." Sat together all night judging ballots. Thousands of ballots got judged all night by the reason the rule's there is so it can be a fair process. It wasn't a fair process. It wasn't a fair process at all. This election, I will say, these Democrats took every avenue possible to commit fraud in this election, and what I saw on the 3rd and 4th was over 20 counts of fraud being taking place in front of my face. And this isn't counting, the ballots that are found in rivers, the ballots found under rocks, the ballots, that ended up.
First of all,
Representative, please.
let me tell you
Representative,
why I'm asking you to hold it.
do you have a point of
I
order?
love how you can
What's
just
your
say
point of
whatever
order?
you want to say. I called the FBI
Okay.
on the 8th, November 8th. I talked to 2 separate women over 40 minutes. The first one gave her all my information. The phone mysteriously cut out, and she never called me back. I was waiting for her to call me back. She never called me back. I had to call them back, and they never called me back. Never got a call back. Still haven't got a call back.
So how many ballots would you estimate in front of you that you observed were counted multiple times in the machine? Can you put a number to it, an estimated number?
At
best
least
you can
at
do.
least 30,000.
At least 30,000. Okay.
Something very, very suspicious too, must I add, that we were not allowed to wear name tags at all. We were not allowed to talk about who we worked for. They were very secretive. They didn't want anybody knowing anything about them.
You're alleging that you heard or that you witnessed ballots being put in the machine, run through, counted, and then put through it again? Is that what you're alleging?
Without discarding.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I am telling you to be a fact.
And how many times did you witness this happening?
I witnessed it in a 27-hour period, thousands and thousands of times.
Dominion won't come before this committee. I've asked them, and so far they've refused. And I do want them to come before this committee because we need answers from them about how their
They're
machines
missing.
work.
They're
So we're
missing.
going to continue to try to get them here. But with that, I'll go to Representative LaFave.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I am not sure how I'm going to do this with one question, but I'm going to try my best anyway. So, with these tabulator machines, of which you estimate there are approximately 22 to 24, I guess I'm not understanding. So, you place batches of 50 on top of the machine.
No. Okay, so I'm gonna try to explain it to you as if it's a printer, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So a printer, when the papers come out of the printer, that's where these tabulators, that's where you would feed the 50 in, okay? Now, on top of the printer, right? So where the scanner would be, right? If it's like a 4-in-1, right? So that's where these ballots would come out after they had been tabulated, okay? So if one jammed, number 25 jammed, right? Then it would put up an error. Discard, rescan. Ballot number 25 has an issue. So they would then take all the ballots that had been tabulated from the top, right? That are now on the top, the 24 that are on the top, the ones that are on the bottom that haven't been tabulated yet, okay? And number 25, the problem ballot, they would put number 25 on top. They would discard the entire batch, and then they would rescan it. instead of discarding it, they would rescan them, counting those 24 again. Okay? Now, let's say it was out of 50, number 48 that jammed. That's 47 being counted again.
Going back to the ruling from Judge Kenny, Timothy Kenny, he writes that your description of the events at the TCF Center does not square with any other affidavits.
Yeah.
He says that there are,
My mistake?
excuse me,
You can
he writes that there are no other reports of lost data or tabulating machines that jammed repeatedly every hour during the count. He also writes that neither Republican nor Democratic challengers nor city officials substantiate your version of these events. The allegations simply are not credible, is what Judge Kenny writes. So my question for you is, you're making claims here today that there's systematic fraud in what's going on in our elections. Are the courts also tied up in that fraud?
Let me tell you what I did by accident, okay? I gave Channel 7 an interview that they tied in to that and made me the witness that's uncredible. Guess what? There's going to be a couple behind me that are going to say the same thing I just said. And
The witness before you was also proven not credible as well by
oh
the
no,
same
she
judge.
wasn't, because she wasn't even there.
Representative
The very
Camilleri,
first
let's let her
time
finish,
she had
please.
talked. The very
Ma'am?
first time.
But can you tell us what you said today is the truth? Is that correct?
Sir, I wrote a written affidavit. Yes, it is 100% true.
Okay. And did other people observe this?
Absolutely. And behind me, you're going to hear a couple.
Okay. And we'll hear
And
from them.
let me just
hopefully.
state this. I was an IT worker on the stage. I was working with Dominion. I had no poll workers were not allowed on the stage. The data loss, nobody would have heard about that besides me, Samuel, and Nick. The poll book is completely off. Completely off.
Off by
That poll-
30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000.
In
That poll book, why don't you look at the registered voters on there? How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
No, I guess I'm trying to get to the bottom of this here.
Zero. There's zero.
So, my question then is if the
Guess how many? Wait. What about the turnout rate? 120%.
Let's let Representative Johnson ask his question, please.
so the poll book number, okay, there's two things that could happen here. Either the poll book number, if ballots were counted multiple times, there's two options. Option number one is that the poll book numbers are not going to match.
They don't.
The actual. Not by thousands and thousands of votes. That's not what we see right now.
Take
That's
a look
option number
again.
one.
Take a look again.
Option number two is that they essentially were filling in names of people who didn't vote.
Dead people too?
So is that?
Let's
I guess
let
is that your
Representative
suggestion?
Johnson ask his question, and then when
I
he's
thought that
done,
was his answer. Okay.
Well, I guess that's
well-
my question here is why we're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes. That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes. So
I know what
are you
I
saying
saw.
that they're filling in?
I know what I saw, and I signed something saying that if I'm wrong, I can go to prison.
Okay.
Did you?
So are we saying that the poll book is either wildly off or that they are
Wildly
filling
off.
in names?
It's wildly off, and dead people voted, and illegals voted.
Okay.
So that's my answer.